Hello friends, and welcome to the weekly moon update. In these videos, we talk about the moon energy for the current week. And the reason we do that is because the moon reflects our emotions and it changes signs very rapidly. So if you find yourself like in a funk or find that you're in a difficult situation and you're reacting negatively to it, the moon can help you take back control of your emotions. And because it changes signs every 2.5 days, like you know that energy is going to shift in 2.5 days. So it gives you sort of a sense of relief that like, okay, it reminds you this isn't going to last forever. This is going to change and everything's going to be okay eventually. And I do find that like once you tap into the moon's energy, you will notice that energy shift within yourself the more you pay attention to it and the more you allow yourself to be open to it. Oh, in this video's case, we're talking about July 28th through August 3rd. So the end of July, beginning of August, we've got Lunasta, we have Retrograd-o-palooza, we've got a first quarter moon, so lots to talk about. Let's jump into it. So our major moon phases are happening closer and closer to the end of the week now. We've got our first quarter moon happening on Friday, August 1st. And as you can see, it's half dark and half light. So that means that the beginning of the week, we have a waxing crescent moon, and where the right side of the moon is lit and increasing with light. And then after the first quarter is when the moon transitions into the gibbous moon, which means that it's more than 50% lit. So the light and the energy again is increasing. So this is our waxing gibbous moon, and then this is our waxing crescent moon. So we might have low energy at the beginning of the week because we're still so close to the new moon. The new moon only happened on Thursday last week. So there's really not that much energy here, but we do have Virgo energy, which is my favorite way to start off a Monday. And because Virgo is getting ready, getting organized, and it's just a really wonderful way to start off the week with an earth sign, which is usually more productive. But because it is still a waxing crescent and our first quarter isn't until Friday, there's really kind of not a lot of energy at the beginning of this week, but you might be feeling motivated to kind of like get things going because of this Virgo energy. So we'll be in Virgo energy all day Monday. The moon's going to start to transition around 9:00 p.m. Monday evening, and then it's going to be in Libra at 1:43 a.m. Tuesday. And I don't know what the heck is going on. I know I say this, I've been saying this like every week for like the last month or so. The void of course times are super strange this last month or so. And so we're only going to be in Libra energy until 11:00 p.m. Tuesday night. Like normally the moon is in a sign for 2.5 days and then it'll transition, but I did write that down correctly. Just wanted to double check because I mean, that is more than a day, 30 something hours where the moon is transitioning. It's so strange. I'm I'm like at a loss for words. I wish I could to explain like what makes the transition time, and I really just have no idea. I have tried researching it before, and honestly, I couldn't find any real information about like why does the moon take this long to why does the moon take this long to change signs when it only takes like I have no idea. So first of all, let's talk about Virgo because we're in Leo season now. Virgo season is right after us. So Virgo season helps us transition into fall. It helps us get ready. We've got all of this abundance, all of the fruit and vegetables from the crops, and you've hopefully have some things coming to fruition within your life. And so we have this huge abundance. This week celebrates the first harvest. So we're like collecting these things during Leo season. Leo season is the royalty. We're like having all of these goods coming in, and Virgo figures out how do we make this supply last longer? How do we store it and keep it for the winter? Where are we going to put it? We're going to put labels on everything and we're going to store it on this shelf. And so Virgo energy and a Virgo Monday is just a really good time to get things in your life organized. What are the things that you want to keep? What are the things you want to throw away? Like just shifting and moving things around energetically or physically. When we move into Libra gives us an opportunity to kind of figure out, okay, we did all of that organization. We were really focused on this thing. What else do we need to do? Like we can't just only focus on our attention on one little thing. And Libra helps us figure out like, okay, Virgo made the plan. How are we going to act on it? It just helps us like re-level our scales, find that balance again, and then keep moving forward. And then when we move into Scorpio is helping us to release and let go. Libra like evaluates and kind of observes and notices what needs to stay, what needs to go. And then Scorpio actually like gets rid of it. So I mean, we're only in this Libra energy for like 12 hours from 1:43 a.m. Tuesday to when it starts to transition at 11 in the evening. So my Libra days are like, what is something that I'm neglecting in my life that needs attention or needs to just like, we need to cross this off the list and get rid of it. So I really focus on something that needs attention. And then when we move into Scorpio, we can decide what are we letting go of, what are we releasing. But at the same time, Scorpio is also very magnetic and can attract the things that you need. So Libra helps us figure out what needs to stay and what we need to call in, especially during a waxing moon. We want to like, waxing moon is about collecting, about drawing in the things that you need, about absorbing all of that energy, using all of that energy, and just like having things come in. So Scorpio can help us draw and magnetize the things that we need to achieve the things that we're trying to achieve. So on Thursday, the 31st, we move into Scorpio at 1:25 p.m. And then, we've got like a good 2.5 days with Scorpio energy. Hooray for people who love Scorpio, which I do. I just I'm not able to function usually. So we have Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, and a lot of Saturday as well, because it won't start to transition until 9:06 p.m. Saturday evening. So we're going to have us a little spooky Scorpio weekend, or start to the weekend, and figuring out what are the things that you want to draw and collect into your life. What are you magnetizing towards you? And a lot of the times with Scorpio, it's helping us look at the things that are preventing us from accomplishing our goals. Like Scorpio is going to point out your flaws. Scorpio is going to point out your shadow. Scorpio is going to like roll around in your shadow. In one way, it helps us love our shadow. It helps us embrace our shadow. But in another way, it helps us again identify like, hey, this shadow might be preventing me from getting the things that I want. So how do I integrate that? How do I heal that? Or how do I release that? So Scorpio is helping us like look at all of these different things, especially from an emotional standpoint. Sometimes we just need these things to come to the surface so that we can release them, whether that's through verbally talking about them, whether that's through crying and tears, whether that's through some action or movement that you need to take in your life. And all of these signs are so necessary. And I don't know why I'm emphasizing this so much. It's probably because I've been struggling with Scorpio days so much, but it's just like it does help us, and it doesn't help to fight it. It doesn't help to like, I can't like throw up your hands and like, it's a Scorpio day, I can't do anything today. Like you can work with this energy. We can work with this energy. I can work through this energy, and we are capable of doing it. And this is why I love following the moon, because it can assist us with these things. So hopefully we're having a healing and integrating weekend. And I think that's going to be the reason why I'm emphasizing it this week, is because when we look at starting on the 30th, these are all of the planets that are retrograde right now. Pluto went retrograde in May. Neptune went retrograde at the beginning of this month. Mercury went retrograde last week. Saturn went retrograde on the 13th. I don't think I even talked about Saturn. And now to Wednesday, July 30th, Chiron is going retrograde. Chiron is the wounded healer. It is these lessons and these obstacles and these constantly nagging things that we have in our lives. And it's kind of perfect that it's coming up on a Scorpio moon, because a Scorpio moon can help us release these things. I mean, the last thing I want to talk about is we're not going to stay in the Scorpio energy all weekend. On Sunday at 2:01 a.m., the moon's moving into Sagittarius. So after you've gone through the darkness, after you've integrated, after you've healed, after you've walked through the dark, scary woods of your soul, Sagittarius reignites that light, reignites that excitement, and is interested and excited for the next thing. It's like after you've embraced your shadow in Scorpio, Sagittarius is like, yeah, so what? I've got flaws. Like, let's go. Like, this is Earth school. We're supposed to be learning here. What are we going to learn next? What is the next adventure that we're going to go on? So that energy is happening on Sunday at 2:01 a.m. And so that means we will be starting next week on Monday with that same spark and fire, especially with a waxing gibbous moon. By the end of this week and by the end of this month, we're starting off August with all of these planets retrograde. Pluto is the planet of transformation. So when Pluto is retrograde, we are kind of relearning. I don't know. I feel like Pluto retrogrades, transformation takes a long time. Evolution takes a long time. And Pluto takes a very long time to go through a transit. And it's a very long retrograde as well. But I feel like retrogrades are a pause. It's like hitting the pause button and allowing us to reflect on the transformation that we have made, which has been very rapid transformation, collectively speaking, very rapid transformation the last 4 years or so. And we also had a really big shift with Pluto moving into Aquarius. And these are big changes, and these are big evolutions that we are all collectively experiencing and going through. But I feel like when we hit the pause button on transformation, it allows us to integrate. It allows us to, like, transformation is hard and it's scary and it's uncomfortable. So I think when Pluto goes retrograde, it gives us this opportunity to get used to this new thing. It helps you kind of like try on the new version of yourself and like see how it fits. Like maybe you need to like stretch it out a little bit and make sure that it fits, and like you need to readjust things and relearn things, and you need to allow these big shifts and changes to just like sink in to your brain and to make those little changes to your day-to-day life to support this transformation even more. So I feel like when we have a Pluto retrograde, it's like hitting the pause button, letting you try things out, letting you reevaluate, integrate, and just like find some understanding and acceptance of these big shifts and changes that we have been going through collectively as well as individually. So a retrograde, all of these retrogrades have the same themes as what I'm talking about. Is we're relearning, redoing, resonating, integrating, and hitting the pause button on these themes in our life. So with Pluto, it was transformation. With Neptune, it's dreams and subconscious. We do so much work subconsciously and in the dream world that, I mean, a Neptune retrograde can aid a Pluto retrograde as well, because a Neptune retrograde, I think, allows us to do that subconscious work that we're not necessarily aware that we are doing. It helps us to integrate. It helps us to heal. And a lot of that is done in the subconscious and in the dream world. So making sure that we're getting a lot of rest, especially as like we're moving into fall and everything. When's it going? Oh, and I mean, Neptune's going to be retrograde until December 10th. So like this half of the year is the waning half of the year. So allow yourself more sleep, allow yourself more rest, take a nap during the day, because we do so much subconsciously and in the dream realm that it's necessary for these big shifts and changes that we are all currently undergoing. Another thing about Neptune retrograde is it feels very unclear. It feels like sometimes I feel like it presents itself as like I had these dreams and I had these ideas and I had these goals, but then once you start to like move towards them, sometimes we recognize like, oh, maybe this isn't what I wanted. Or sometimes when we get it, it's like, oh, this isn't what I wanted. So a Neptune retrograde is like helps you to reevaluate what it is that you're striving for. What are your biggest and brightest dreams? And has that changed since you set goals at the beginning of the year? Has that changed? And how do you want to like readjust and restructure the things that you're aiming for? And again, this is a very, very long retrograde. So we'll be in this energy for until December 10th. And at the same time, I know I've brought this up before about Neptune retrograde, but I have heard like multiple people, even people who aren't really in the spiritual realm or tuned into astrology or anything. I've had so many people just like when they turn on the TV and watch the news, they're just like, is this real? Is this even real life? Like, so much of what's happening in the world is absolutely bizarre and just like really difficult to wrap your brain around. And that has the energy of Neptune retrograde. It's just not really knowing like what is real and what is not. So it's also really important, like with any retrograde, and I'm going to repeat this again when I'm talking about Mercury too. It's really important to like ground yourself in reality, get grounded and centered so that you're like making decisions and choices from a clear-headed perspective, because we might be getting lost in the clouds for the next 6 months. So with Mercury retrograde, thank goodness nobody likes a Mercury retrograde, but it's only a couple of weeks compared to these other really long retrogrades. I mean, what is it? We've got 2 more weeks. So that's really not that bad. But because it's such a short period of time, I think that's why we feel the effect so much, because it's like all of these crazy things have the potential to happen within this short amount of time. And it's just like, what the heck? It feels like your life exploded sometimes. It's like you can't get your computer to work, or you thought you sent an email, but it didn't go through and it totally like screwed everything up. It's just communication is so important, especially in our modern lives. And in our modern lives, communication is so instant and so like it's really easy to have things just like totally go out of whack because we are so dependent on technology and communication. So, like I was saying with Neptune retrograde, getting grounded and centered and making sure you're making clear decisions and clear choices. With a Mercury retrograde, it's like using your words very wisely, reading things multiple times, making sure that you read it correctly before you, especially before you sign contracts and all of that, all of those things. And Mercury retrograde is like the ultimate like autocorrect that totally said the wrong thing. So Saturn retrograde, we haven't, I guess, I don't know how I missed it, but we haven't talked about Saturn retrograde, but we have been talking a lot about Saturn lately, and I've been trying to wrap my brain around what Saturn, because Saturn just changed signs. So I've been trying to wrap my brain around what does Saturn in a fire element mean? And I've really been trying to like figure that out, what that means for me and myself and like my boundaries. And because Saturn is the planet of boundaries and restrictions. So like how do we burn away these things that are like restricting us? But how do we move with our boundaries? How do we move with this new world that we're creating? Oh, I wanted to double check. So for the beginning of this retrograde, Saturn is going to remain in Aries, but on September 1st, it's going to move back into Pisces. So very much like Pluto did last year as it was moving into Aquarius, it kept going back into Capricorn. And this I feel like it kind of eases us into these big sign changes because it's like, let's dip our toe into Saturn and Aries, but then we're going to go back into Saturn and Pisces for a little bit, and then we're going to jump back into Saturn and Aries. So it's kind of nice of these planets to be like, kind of give us a little taste of something and then allow us to retreat back to our comfort zone before we jump back into it again. It's like sticking your toe in the water and kind of getting your body temperature adjusted to it before you go all the way in. The last planet to go retrograde is Chiron, happening on Wednesday the 30th. And man, Chiron is just difficult. It's meant to be difficult. But it's also, the thing about it is it's like those difficult things that you have to go through so that you get these wonderful, like awe-inspiring moments. It's like the really difficult things that you've gone through. But when you look back on it in hindsight, you're like, oh, I understand why I had to go through that, because now look at where I am. This is where I am. This is where I wanted to be. It was really hard to get here, but I am so grateful for it that I had to go through that because I love and embrace and wanted this thing that I have now. But there's still really, really difficult things to go through. So I feel like a Chiron retrograde, like I was saying about Pluto, is it helps us reevaluate, relearn, look at again the difficult things that we've gone through. And unfortunately, sometimes that is something's going to pop up in your life that triggers you from some other past thing. But the reason we get triggered by things is so that we can like relearn and heal those things that irritate us. So Retrograd-o-palooza is officially here. It is a little bit smaller than what we have experienced the last few years. And I say that meaning we usually have Mars and or Venus on this list as well. But Mars and Venus went retrograde earlier this year. So we already did those things. And when we have all of these planets retrograde, those are the things that I like to focus on is what is direct, what is moving forward, because that's something that you can focus on while you are trying to figure out what all of this means for you. So Mars, the planet of action, we're still moving forward. Even if things are going to be like tricky and difficult and there's going to be obstacles, like we're still moving forward. We're still making progress. And Venus being retro or being direct as well, this means that there is a lot of, for me, it's seems like we're gonna have the people in our life that will help support us through this time. Like your relationships, those really strong relationships are going to be there for you. The ones that are, unconditional and supportive. I feel like I also feel like we're going to be moving forward in a very heart-centered way, which at the bottom of everything is like the most important thing, is to be leading with your heart, to have compassion for your fellow humans because they're all going through some shit too. We are all going through this shit together, and it does not hurt to just be kinder and more compassionate while we are making our way through this. Okay, so much happening this week. I know this feels like I just dropped like so much information and you might be like overloaded. With the exception of Mercury retrograde, all of these things this isn't just like happening all at once. Like we have until October to figure out what Pluto retrograde means to us. We have until December to figure out what Neptune retrograde means for us. We have until November to figure out what Saturn retrograde, and we have until next year to figure out whatever Chiron's doing for us. So this is a lot, but we have time. You have the space. We can figure it out. You've got time. It's not like, I know like pop astrology tries to put all this emphasis on like, this is the only time you can do this thing. It's not the only time. And if you don't quite integrate all of the things that you feel like you're supposed to be learning or reevaluating or integrating or healing, you're going to get another opportunity to do it again. It's not like you have to do this now or you're going to miss it. We're just taking one little piece of the puzzle and figuring out what that means and putting it in place. And then we're going to pick up another piece of the puzzle. It's not happening. It feels like it's happening all at once, but it's really not. So the energy of this week, honestly, I feel like it feels like it is what it is kind of week. We've got our first quarter moon. We have Lunasta. Lunasta is a time of celebration. We have so much abundance. This is a time to be focusing on what we do have and not what we're lacking. We're not going to focus on what we're lacking. We're focusing on what we are grateful for. That's what the harvest seasons. There's 3 harvest seasons because it's so freaking important to be grateful for the things that we do have in our lives. So let's get started with the cards because this is so funny. This happened at the summer solstice as well. At the summer solstice, we got a winter solstice card for the week. And here at Lammas, we have a Beltane, or not a Beltane, a Imbolc card. So our card is Brigid and Creation, and I'm so excited to read from this oracle card because it is a new deck to me. I haven't even unboxed it. I just shuffled them and pulled a card. We have Brigid and Creation as our card, which I just think that this is so interesting that we keep getting these holidays that are directly opposite from each other. So if you're in the southern hemisphere, you are actually celebrating Imbolc right now, whereas we are celebrating Lammas. And the same thing with the summer solstice. When we were celebrating the summer solstice, people in the southern hemisphere are focusing on or celebrating the winter solstice. So I just think that's really interesting that we're getting these cards and these energies that balance each other out. So she says, creation is your birthright. All of us create. We don't have to be artists. The more we create, the better we get at it. Trust your intuition and master your craft in joy. Be the inspiration and inspire others. Do not apologize for your creative spirit. Regulate your emotions through creative endeavors. I am infinitely creative. Brigid is the daughter of Dagda and one of the poets of the Tuatha De Danann. And what I love about this Celtic/Irish goddess is the breadth of her creative reach. She is the goddess of poets, storytelling, and writing. She is the mighty goddess of the crucible of the forge and the making of tools and jewelry and metal. She is the goddess of the creation of life itself and the renewal within the land, animals, and people. She appears with a fire flaming above her head, linking her to celestial power and primal creativity. Does she have a flame above her head? She appears with a fire flaming above her head, linking her to celestial power and primal creativity. I guess she's got some like little orbs floating around there. Maybe they mean just like generally speaking, if she appears to you. I don't know. Okay, so the Festival of Imbolc, which is celebrated by pagans today, is a time to celebrate the first signs of spring and was considered a festival sacred to Brigid. Herbs that were necessary for healing would be gathered and harvested during this time and blessed through ritual in her name. Many celebrations are held around her healing wells, and springs sacred to her are still used in Ireland. It was said that if you collected the dew that lay upon the grass on Imbolc morning, you would not get sick or age for another year. Many writers, filmmakers, farmers, and healers still ask for inspiration and healing energy from Brigid. The goddess is still a very popular deity to honor throughout the world and is, to this day, the patron saint of Ireland. Her current sanctuary contains a sacred flame and is situated in Kildare. The companion stone or metal is iron that goes along with this card. It's so interesting. I am so attracted to crystals that have some sort of iron component to them. And it's always been the case. Like whenever I research crystals that I'm just like in love with, they all have some sort of iron or copper in them. It's so interesting. But anyways, so this is such a beautiful card, and it really is fitting. Like, so traditionally Lammas is celebrating the god Lu, who is very much her masculine counterpart. They're talking about how creative she is and how she's the master of like writing and poetry, storytelling, and also the forge. But so was Lu. Lu was also very skilled. Like he was kind of the jack of all trades. Like he was very skilled in a lot of crafts, specifically like metal forging. But he was also a warrior as well, and was so there's the energy of Lammas has this sunny sunflower, masculine, confident, creative kind of energy to it. So this card is very, very perfect for this week and this time of year. And also I feel like this card feels very inspiring to me in the sense that like since Cancer season, and we were checking in with, because we're 6 months through the year and figuring out how to make our way through the end of the year. I think sometimes we can get this sense of like, well, I haven't accomplished the things that I've wanted to accomplish, and I don't see myself making these goals before the end of the year either. So you might have some discouragement around this time of year when we're doing these check-ins to 6 months through the year and seeing how everything's going. You might feel a little discouraged because maybe you're not where you wanted to be, or maybe you're not where you thought you would be. But that doesn't mean that you have to give up. It doesn't mean that you can't find some spark or inspiration, because like these disappointments are meant to like nudge us into where we might find inspiration, where we might find creativity. If this thing isn't working, then what is working? What grabs your attention? What catches your eye? What sparks something inside of you? Who cares about the goal? Like, let the goal go. The goal is just a guideline. And then, so we also have sacral chakra card here, seductive flame. You are coming alive in the best, most empowered way. This energy permeating your auric field is magnetic. Your senses are heightened, your creativity is surging, and your vibrations are high. This joyous energy is rising within you like a victorious inferno, so hot it's impossible to extinguish. Let your fire burn bright. Others will be inspired by you as well. Life wants to come through you right now. you are advised to allow it. So again, this is a sacral chakra card. The crystal they recommend is carnelian, which is very much a creative, activating sacral chakra stone. And the herb they recommend is coriander. And last but not least, we also have a fiery ambery stone today. Amber is a stone of wisdom, abundance, warmth, and deep nurturing energy. It's a protective ally that prevents psychic attacks and repels negative energy. Amber activates the solar plexus chakra card, which supports your health and ignites confidence and personal power. The affirmation is, I am confident, nurtured, and protected. I just feel like Amber just looks like this smoldering fire, and it's such a beautiful card to have to go along with these cards and to go along with this week as we are celebrating this harvest. Think of the things that, like, we talked about smoldering a lot last fall, and how are we going to keep these dreams and the coals of our dreams going throughout the winter. And the energy of this week kind of has that feeling as well of, so what if things didn't work out how you wanted them to? Just keep going, keep moving, find something that lights you up, and go, like, focus your attention on that. I think we're supposed to be focusing on the positive things. There's enough negative things to go around a million times over. We need to focus on the things that we want to bring in, the positive things, the good things, the things that light us up, the things that make us happy. We need to go for the things that make us happy. Why are we sitting in this negative energy, in this negative space of, like, it's overwhelming, and I get lost in this pit of despair very often, but I have to remind myself that, like, it's okay to just reach for the first thing that makes you happy. And I don't mean something that's, like, gonna distract you or something that's gonna numb you. I don't mean it in that sort of way. Of just, like, if you need to sit down and rest, like, sit down and rest. If you need to cry, sit down and cry. If you just want to sit and color for a minute, do it, because anything that is going to make you feel better, and I mean truly make you feel better, not just numbing or distracting, something that's, like, truly going to make you feel better, do not feel guilty about doing that thing. You have to make yourself feel better. You have to find these things that light you up. You have to find this spark within, because it's there, even if you don't feel like it is. It is there. Somewhere you've got this little ember burning inside of you. We all have this little, like, fire ember burning inside of us that's just waiting to be ignited, waiting to be fueled. Whew. Okay, so we've got a lot of light, we've got a lot of energy, we've got a lot of creative energy, sacral chakra energy, sexual energy. We've got Bridget and her flame. We've got Lou and his forge. We've got the first harvest. What are you grateful for? Let me know in the comments what you're grateful for. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for being here, and I just cannot wait to see you on the other side of the looking glass again sometime soon. We've got our first, whoops. That's not my laser. Oops. We had a, I said bring to the front, fools. Front. Okay.